You're selling your home and your house is under contract. Now what? I'm Rachel Beasley with That Fit Team. Today we are going to talk about what to expect once your home gets under contract when you're selling your home. So let's get into it. We're doing a series just for sellers. So hopefully you find this very helpful, and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can watch the rest of the videos for sellers. Now let's get into it. All right, so your house is under contract. What do you do now, right? So this is kind of what it looks like in a nutshell, and then we'll dive in deeper. So the first thing that's gonna happen is the buyer's agent and the buyers are gonna schedule that home inspection on your home. So you wanna be ready for a home inspection to occur on your house, which looks like this. A home inspector comes in, they are gonna inspect every nook and cranny of your home. So be ready for that. It doesn't hurt to have your house clean for that inspection because it does give a good impression for the inspector that your house is being well maintained. There's things you can do to prepare for that inspection. A few things that I always kind of ask my sellers if they'd be willing to do would be have that HVAC system serviced and cleaned so it's in really good condition and it has a good bill of health. You could even leave that paperwork out for the inspector to see that you're maintaining your home well. If there's any documentation of any repairs or even like big ticket items that you've done to your home while you've lived there, it's also good to have that paperwork out on the counter for the inspector to see as well. I'm talking maybe you got a new HVAC system, heating and cooling. Maybe you put a new roof on your home or a new hot water heater or new appliances. Those things will actually show the home inspector that you really take good care of your home, and he's probably not gonna pick it apart like some inspectors would. It's the home inspector's job to crawl in your crawl space. He's gonna inspect the crawl space and look for maybe some active termites or leaks, or maybe you have some subflooring that might need to be replaced. He's looking at the structure of your home, things like your ductwork, is it in proper condition? There's a lot more he looks for, but we could go into more detail probably when we do like our own little consultation together. He's also gonna go into your attic. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have the attic pretty much able for him to walk around or crawl around. You wanna make sure that he can see what's going on in your attic. So if you have a ton of boxes right at the entrance, be kind and maybe move those over for him. He's gonna check all of the systems in your home, from turning on your dishwasher to your washer and dryer. He's gonna check the temperature of the air coming out of your vents. So if it's super hot outside, he's gonna check that air conditioning, make sure it's nice and cool. And if it's cold outside, he's gonna check and make sure the heat's working really nice. Now, sometimes they can't always check the opposite spectrum. Like if it's 100 degrees outside, he's not gonna turn on the heat to see if it's working. So that's why that documentation and paperwork comes in really, really handy. Now, these inspectors are doing what's called like a inspection, basically of everything that's not behind the walls. So they're not gonna be intrusive, in other words, and start moving things. So again, make sure you're kind and do your best to make sure that like your electrical panel isn't covered up and doesn't have boxes in front of it for him to have to move. You don't want him to be like annoyed with the fact that he has to do a little extra work just to inspect your electrical panel. So these are things the inspector is doing. Normally takes about 2 to 3 hours depending on the size of your home. And most of the time the buyer's agent is gonna be there along with the buyers. So be prepared for the buyers to be in your home for a good 2 to 3 hours if they're local. It gives them a chance to just kind of like fall in love with your home one more time. Don't be surprised if they are measuring your windows for their future curtains or things like that. But it's a great opportunity to just showcase your house one more time to the people that fell in love with it. Now, the home inspection's done. You're probably gonna have to wait a day or two before you hear back from the buyers. Right now, in a crazy seller's market, a lot of buyers aren't asking for repairs, but it's not uncommon for a buyer to ask for some repairs from that home inspection. Things that they're gonna look for and maybe ask for you to repair would be structural items, safety issues like electrical safety, or maybe leaks in some of your plumbing. Like a lot of time we live in our house, we don't even realize that our shower's been leaking, just dripping here and there. But those are the things that buyers are looking for. They want to make sure that they're buying a house that's been well maintained, and they know what they're getting themselves into. So when your listing agent or me, when we receive that report back from the buyers and maybe a list of repairs, it's our chance to go through that list and see what you're willing to take care of for the buyers. and what you're not willing to take care of. Sometimes people are like, sure, great, I'm just ready to sell my house. Let's move on, we'll take care of it all. But I've seen some repair requests come back and they're a couple pages long and that can be very overwhelming. So that's when you really need to rely on your agent to help you go through each item and also use their contacts or your contacts, their Rolodex of contractors that they have so you can get those things priced out. Next up would be that termite and moisture inspection. Now in the contract, there's actually a section where the buyer and you choose whether or not you're gonna pay for and schedule the termite moisture inspection, or is the buyer gonna do that? So you wanna look out for that, make sure that you know exactly what the terms of the contract says. If you already have a contract with a bug company who is treating or maintaining your home from termite and moisture issues, then most likely it would behoove you to go ahead and be the one to schedule that inspection and have your guy go out there and inspect the property. Every once in a while, you'll see a buyer that wants to use their company that they trust and go out and inspect. Now, what these people are looking for is signs of termites or signs of past termites in the home. And also they're looking for things like wood destroying fungus or maybe even some rotten wood underneath the home. Now, this is Hampton Roads, guys. So in Hampton Roads, we are high humidity and we are one of the highest areas in the nation for termites. So if you don't have your house being protected now, please, if you're watching this video, as soon as you're done, pick up the phone, start Googling termite and moisture companies and get a contract on your home. You'll be thankful that you did to protect your house and that asset that you have. And in the future, if you're going to sell, that you have the peace of mind that your home is being protected. There is what's called a 1% cap in the contract. And I think we've talked about this in a couple of our videos before, but I'm just gonna go through it pretty quickly because this is what that cap is about, you guys. So let's say that termite and moisture report comes back and there's past signs of termites and maybe like some of the boards underneath your home has some fungus on it that needs to be treated. Another common thing we see is that poly barrier underneath the home either doesn't exist or it needs to be replaced. That poly barrier is actually really important if you have a crawl space. What it does is it keeps the moisture underneath your home from the ground evaporating into the wood in the structure of your crawl space. So it's very important to actually have a poly barrier. If you don't, please go look, just peek underneath your house if you're not sure and see if you have one. You wanna get one installed if you don't have one. Just a quick tip. Now, back to that 1% cap. So termite moisture treatment needs to be done on your home. So by the company that probably did the inspection, typically they'll come back with an estimate so you know what that cost will be. So you wanna go ahead and get that scheduled, and typically the cost of that is only gonna be it's typically under $1,000, and that can be paid for at closing out of your seller proceeds. And that is underneath that 1% cap. So let's say you're selling your home for $450,000 and you got an invoice from a termite and moisture company to take care of those treatments that are required underneath your home in order for the lender to be able to lend on your home. So it's actually a requirement, you guys. You're definitely under that 1% cap. 1% would be up to $4,500. So know that when you're agreeing to a contract with a 1% cap on it, you're agreeing to, if something's going on underneath that house, then it could cost you up to 1% of your sales price in repairs that you've already agreed to in the contract. Once we get past the termite and moisture inspection, typically at the same time, the buyer and the lender is ordering the appraisal. So there's a third person that's gonna walk through your home. Yes, I know it's a lot, but it happens over a couple of weeks, so it doesn't feel like it's all at once. So the appraiser is gonna go and he's gonna walk into your home. He's actually gonna walk around. He's gonna look at your roof. He's gonna kind of poke around it. He's gonna poke around at maybe your front door to make sure that you don't have any wood rot around your front door. And he's gonna go inside and he's gonna measure your home. He's gonna see what are the finishes inside of this house? What kind of appliances do you have? What kind of flooring do you have? And he's basically gonna take all of that information and go back to his office. And then from there, now that he has a good idea of what your home looks like after he's walked through it, he's gonna look for market comparables to your home. He's gonna start in your neighborhood, and if he needs to go out maybe a half a mile, I've seen them sometimes go out a full mile if they can't find any like homes in your neighborhood. He's gonna see what other homes like yours have sold for in the past 3 to 6 months. Now, it's very important to know that an appraiser is gonna do this because he's looking at not what you think the house is worth, not what the buyer thinks the house is worth. He is there to protect the lender's asset because the lender is lending on this home. He's looking at what the market value is of your home. And that actually has a lot to do with what the buyer's buying power is and lending power is in the end. What we're looking for from that appraisal, it typically takes about 10 to 14 days before the appraisal is ordered. Sometimes those reports come back with some repairs that are required. And then those repairs also fall underneath that 1% cap. Now I have a whole video about this, you guys. So please make sure that you watch that video. I'm just giving you like the quick 101 on this. But that's a very important process, and your listing agent will be able to walk you through if something comes up on that appraisal that might not be ideal. You guys can figure that out all together because everyone wants the same thing. The buyer wants to buy your home and you want to sell your home. So if you all work together, you can figure it out. So let's say here we're probably close to closing, maybe 10 to 2 weeks out from closing. Hey guys, at closing, you gotta be gone. You need to be moved out of your home and your house cleaned up and ready to hand the keys to the new buyer. So about at that 2 week to 10 day mark, that's when you really need to start hiring movers or buying those boxes and start boxing up rooms. The last thing you want is it to be all last minute and then you call all of your friends and say, hey, I messed up. I need to move everything out of my home. So work with your listing agent to make sure that you know exactly what that timing is, when you should expect closing to be so that you can plan properly. Everything needs to be out of your house because you're moving your stuff somewhere else and the buyer wants to move their stuff in. So it really is common courtesy. There really isn't anything in the contract that says that you have to clean your home, but it is common courtesy here in Hampton Roads to make sure everything's moved out of the home. Even if you don't want it, just get rid of it. Give it to Goodwill or sell it or take it to the dump. But have the house completely empty for that new buyer because they are gonna do a final walkthrough of your home, typically a couple of days before closing, the day before closing, but especially the day of. So they have the right to walk through your home as a final walkthrough. What they're doing here is making sure that all the repairs have actually been done and they can see that they've been done from the home inspection repair list. They are making sure that the appliances are there that you agreed to sell the home with. I say this because one time I was working with a buyer and we walked in the house and the refrigerator was different and we were like, this isn't right. So we actually had to go to the lawyers and they had to help us figure it out. It worked out in the end, but the last thing you want is to like switch out an appliance and the buyer is like, nope, that's not what I expected. So make sure that you're communicating well with your listing agent. Also, you know, things happen. What if a storm comes through and a window gets broken? So the buyer would tag that on the walkthrough report and you would probably have to take care of that window at some point, either before closing or put in an addendum for after closing. Those are kind of like a lot of the big things that happen as a seller after you get your home under contract. It seems like a lot, I know, but these things typically happen over about a 4 to 6 week period. And a good listing agent will help you walk through each one of these inspections or inspectors, the appraisal, the final walkthrough, what you should do before closing. Hey, even down to when you should schedule your utilities to be transferred out of your name. That final walkthrough, it is up to you, the seller, to have the utilities on for the buyers. You don't want to turn off your utilities too soon because then you'll have to go through all the hassle of turning them back on and it might even delay closing and nobody wants that. Listen guys, if you have any questions about selling your home and what it looks like from start to finish, yes, we have these videos, but we would love to work with you, answer your questions, and help you through that process. We're really good at marketing. Hey, you're here watching this video, and we're really good at helping people. Like, we're passionate about you guys, and we want to help you get top dollar for your home in the shortest amount of time. Hey, wait, I think I wrote a book about that. I did. You should check it out or ask me for a copy. It's free. That's all I have for today. Would love to hear from you. Comment below. Let me know what questions you may have. And if you're thinking about listing your home, please give us a call. We would love to be your go-to team and help you get top dollar for your house in the shortest amount of time here in Hampton Roads. I'll see you soon.